You think your voice is your weapon. You've been told since birth that speaking up is how you get what you want, that being heard is the ultimate form of influence. You believe that if you explain your logic, your feelings, or your hustle clearly enough, the world will finally understand you. You think that by talking long enough, you will eventually win. But here is a jarring truth that will make your blood run cold. Every time you open your mouth to explain yourself, you are bleeding authority. You are handing over the keys to your internal kingdom to anyone listening. You are making yourself predictable. And in the world of dark psychology and social strategy, predictability is death. People are naturally terrified of the unknown, but the moment you speak, you become known. You become small. You become common. You think you're being authentic, but in reality, you're just making yourself easy to manage. Today, the archive reveals a secret that separates the masters from the puppets, a secret that will make people uncomfortable in your presence and desperate for your approval. Always say less than necessary. By the time this video ends, you will never look at a conversation the same way again. I'm going to show you how to dominate any room by doing the one thing you've been taught to fear: remaining silent. To truly understand the power of silence, we have to look back at our biological roots. In the wild, the loudest animals are rarely the apex predators. The loudest are the scavengers, the prey, and the subordinates. They use noise to try and scare off threats they cannot actually handle. This is a forgotten piece of human nature. There is a law of social entropy that dictates that the more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control you are. When you speak, you are expending energy in revealing your hand. You are providing the world with raw data to use against you. This is basic economics applied to psychology. If a diamond were as common as a pebble, it would be worthless. If your words are constant, they are pebbles. The elite understand that meaning is inversely proportional to volume. The less you say, the more weight each word carries. When you stop talking, something fascinating happens in the brains of those around you. Humans have a biological horror vacui, a primal fear of empty space. When you leave a silence in a conversation, the other person's brain goes into overdrive. Their limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for emotions and survival instincts, triggers a mild sense of anxiety. They feel a desperate, visceral need to fill the void you've created. This is the hidden foundation of power. By saying less, you force others to say more. And when they talk just to fill the silence, they reveal their insecurities, their secrets, and their weaknesses. While they are losing their balance, struggling to find the right words to appease the silence, you are standing perfectly still. You are the apex predator in the tall grass, watching. You are the only one in the room who truly knows what is happening. Let us look into the archive at a master of this law, Louis XIV, the Sun King. He ruled France with an absolute authority that lasted for decades, but he didn't achieve this through shouting or long, winding speeches. He did it through a three-word phrase that terrified the most powerful men in Europe: I shall see. Imagine you are a high-ranking noble in the 17th century. You've traveled for days to see the king. You have a complex political request, a grievance, or a plan. You spend 30 minutes explaining your logic, your loyalty, and your needs. You are sweating, pouring your heart out, searching for any sign of approval or rejection on the king's face. Louis would sit there, motionless. His face was a mask of stone. He wouldn't interrupt you, and he wouldn't nod to encourage you. He would just watch you. When you finally finished, exhausted and vulnerable, he would stand up, look you in the eye, and simply say, I shall see. Then he would walk away. Think about the psychological impact of that silence. The noble would leave the room in a state of mental collapse. They would spend the next week torturing themselves with questions. What did he mean? Was he angry? Did I say too much? Did I reveal a weakness? Because Louis says so little, the noble's own mind became his interrogator. The noble would spend the next month trying to please the king even more, just to find out where they stood. Louis knew that if he argued, he descended to the noble's level. If he explained his reasoning, he could be judged. But by saying, I shall see, he remained a god. He remained the mystery. Modern icons like 50 Cent or Napoleon understood this same strategy. They realize that power is not about the information you give, it is about the information you withhold. Every word you save is a piece of power you keep. Now, you are ready to stop being the talker and start being the master. Here are 5 power moves to implement Law 4 immediately. The first move is tactical interrogative silence. When someone asks you a difficult or pointed question, do not answer immediately. Count to 5 in your head while maintaining neutral, calm eye contact. This makes the other person feel like their question was either beneath you or that you are searching their very soul. Usually, they will start talking again to clarify their own question, and in doing so, they will give you the answer they were looking for or reveal their true motive for asking. The second move is the monosyllabic wall. In digital communication, DMs, emails, or texts use the shortest possible professional answer. Understood, proceed. No. Long texts scream that you care too much or that you are trying too hard to convince the other person. Short texts radiate high status. They imply that your time is too valuable for full sentences and leave the other person wondering if they've done something to lose your interest. The third move is the modern I shall see. When someone presents an idea or a request to you, even if you love it, do not show excitement. Simply say, I'll take that into consideration. Enthusiasm is a reveal of your hand. By staying neutral, you keep the leverage. They will continue to work harder to sell you on the idea because they aren't sure they have won you over yet. The fourth move is the mirroring question. When someone tries to get you to reveal your opinion or your plans, flip the script. Ask, why do you ask? Or what makes you say that? This forces the other person to explain their motives. You are gathering intelligence while revealing absolutely nothing about yourself. You remain a closed book, while they become a wide open diary. The fifth move is the controlled exit. Never be the one who finishes the story. If you are telling an anecdote and the energy in the room is high, cut it short. Say, anyway, it's a long story. I have to handle something. We'll talk later. This creates an open loop in their brain. They will think about you for hours after you leave. The person who stays the longest and talks the most is the easiest to forget. The person who leaves first and says the least is the one who haunts the room. However, we must discuss the heavy price of this knowledge. Silence is a weapon, and like any weapon, it can backfire if used incorrectly. If you are always silent, people will stop seeing you as mysterious and start seeing you as boring, or worse, suspicious. Silence must be a tool, not a static personality trait. If you become a brick wall, you lose the ability to build the very alliances you need to climb the social hierarchy. This is the core difference between the alpha and the sigma approach to power. The alpha often needs to dominate through noise. He is visible, loud, and therefore a massive target. The sigma uses silence to become a ghost. He is there, but you can't quite grasp his true intentions. But there is a psychological decay that comes with this. When you start saying less than necessary, you begin to realize how much people lie and how much they ramble out of sheer insecurity. You might start to feel a cold contempt for those around you. You might stop connecting with people entirely. If you lose your humanity in the pursuit of power, you win the game, but lose the reason for playing. Use Law 4 to protect yourself, to negotiate, and to lead, but do not let the silence swallow your soul. Power is a lonely mountain. The higher you go, the thinner the air, and the quieter it gets. Make sure you can handle the cold. The archive is closing for today, but the lesson is just beginning. Tomorrow, when you walk into a room or when you open a chat window, I want you to remember the Sun King. I want you to feel the power of the things you do not say. Watch how people scramble to please you when you give them nothing but a look. Watch how your influence grows as your word count shrinks. This is an educational fan channel dedicated to the wisdom of Robert Greene. We study the darkness so we can walk in the light. If you are ready to master the laws of human nature, subscribe to Unlock the Archive. I have a final question for you. Who in your life talks too much, and what have they revealed to you because of it? Leave your most complex question in the comments below. The archive is listening. Stay observant. Stay silent. Stay powerful.